Hey Jenny, ready for another deep dive? I've been digging into something that's it's pretty exciting, even for a terminal nerd like me.
Mark, you had me at Terminal Nerd. What have you got for us today? Something that'll finally convince me to ditch my trusty old command prompt?
Okay, so you know how we've talked about modernizing development tools? Well, there's this new Windows shell called Warp. And it's not just an incremental update, it's a whole new way of thinking about the command line.
A new shell? I'm intrigued. But what makes it so different? Is it just, a fresh coat of paint on the same old thing?
No, not at all. See, that's what's got me so hyped. It's built from the ground up in Rust, which, means it's blazing fast and way more secure. But the real kicker is this block-based interface.
Block-based? Okay, you've lost me. Explain like I'm 5, Mark. What does that even mean?
Right. So picture your typical terminal output, right? It's just this endless stream of text scrolling by. Warp, though, it groups everything, commands, output, errors, into these neat little collapsible blocks.
Oh, so like organized chunks of information instead of a fire hose of text?
Exactly. And you can expand or collapse them, search within them. It's kind of like having an IDE, but for your terminal. You remember Dave Plummer, right? The guy who created Task Manager back in the NT days. He called traditional shells as lacking extensibility.
Okay, that sounds surprisingly useful. So less time scrolling through endless logs, more time actually, times doing times things?
Precisely. And it gets better. They've built in collaboration features. Like, you can share your terminal session with someone else in real time.
Whoa, hold on. Shared terminal sessions? So like pair programming but directly in the terminal?
Yeah. You can both see what's happening, debug together, even hand off control. It's a game changer for remote teams, or even just for getting help from a colleague down the hall.
That sounds amazing for troubleshooting. I can't tell you how many times I've wished I could just showtime someone my terminal output instead of trying to explain it.
And there's more. They've integrated some AI features too, like it can suggest commands, autocorrect errors. It's like having a little coding buddy right there in your terminal.
Okay, that's getting into slightly scary territory, Mark. An AI correcting my commands? Is it going to start judging my coding style next?
Not yet. But think of it more like an intelligent assistant. It learns from your patterns, helps you avoid common mistakes. It's all about streamlining the workflow.
So it's not just for Windows diehards then? What about those of us who dabble in other operating systems?
That's the other cool thing. It's cross-platform, native support for Linux, Mac OS, and times Windows. So you get the same experience no matter what you're working on.
Wow, that's a pretty big deal. It sounds like they've really thought of everything. So, what's the catch? There's always a catch, right?
Well, it's still relatively new, so there are some kinks to work out. I saw some Linux users reporting dependency issues, and the AI features, they're still evolving, but the early feedback is overwhelmingly positive. People are talking about serious productivity gains.
Productivity gains, you say? I'm always up for that. So where do we go to get our hands on this magical Warp terminal?
It's readily available. Just head to their website. They have installers for all the major platforms. I've been playing around with it for a few weeks now, and I'm honestly hooked. It's changed the way I work.
Well, Mark, you've convinced me to try. Maybe my command prompt days are nearly over. Thanks for the breakdown.
Anytime, Jenny. I am sure our listeners now also have something cool to try out this week. The future of terminals is here, and it is exciting. And